with China. I don't think I need to tell you, we don't have to demystify that. We know the imbalance in this relationship. And it takes resolve. It takes a huge amount of determination. And I have to credit today our armed forces who are standing at that border, staring down an enemy that has been able to tame every other force within 800 kilometers and miles of it, of the Pacific Rim and South China Sea. This is not an easy but very risible enemy. And what do we get? We get statements like this. Let me read to you these statements. Weak Modi scared of Xi, silent as China acts against India. Third, China rebuff. Muscular diplomacy, question mark. Hope the 56-inch strongman has a plan on Doklam. What are you signaling to the Chinese government? That you are not united? That Modi doesn't have the political elbow room to stare China down? It senses weakness, it will come after you. Isn't this irresponsible?
No, it is irresponsible, but it is entirely predictable. You know, this has been happening for the last 6 years, but I have one question to those people who are, bringing down or saying that India is not acting fast enough. In the last 6 years, has there been an inch of Indian land that the Chinese have taken permanently? There hasn't. They may come into our territory, we may go into their territory, because the LOC we say is 3,500 kilometers long, they say is 2,000 kilometers long. It's a border dispute. But is it true that the Chinese have taken even 1 inch of land in the last 6 years? And if they haven't, then who has been successful? It is a simple answer from a layman. And let me tell you, Rahul, you know, these maneuvers being conjured up by China are actually to distract the world from its corona villainy. I'm sorry to use this harsh word, but that is what it is. It is corona villainy. And only the Chinese and some of its Indian assets believe otherwise. They wanted to embarrass India into acting against China at a time when we are dealing with our own problems. And I'm really pleased that our leaders, military or otherwise, haven't bitten this silly bait, further irritating these assets, many of whom are in the media, fattened by periodic paid Chinese infomercials and central press advertisements. Let me remind you that these same sickle ninjas have been totally silent on Chinese concentration camps that house more than 1 million Uyghur Muslims. Anyhow, from a layman's perspective, here is where we stand. We have a disputed boundary with China thanks to who else but the Brits. And this LOC, as I said, according to us is 3,500 kilometers long, China says 2,000 kilometers long. In this thing called Panonso, Ladakh, there is a lake and the LOC runs through it. Where the Indian boundary ends in the lake water and where the Chinese one begins is disputed. So this is what has led to border skirmishes. This lake is tactical because in the Chushul approach from where the China launched the 1962 offensive.
Yes.
Meanwhile, another problem that China has, that we have been strengthening our border infrastructure over there. We have just completed the 255 kilometer long DSDBO road. But this is in our territory. So facing an uncertain future where the West is angry at China for ruining the world economy, battling eternal troubles, Hong Kong, Taiwan, US trade relations, clearly the Chinese are rattled. The dragon has lost its fire in the Game of Thrones. बस यहाँ वो dragon की छिपकली छोड़ जाते हैं इंडिया में, जो कि तिलस्ती रहती है.
Well, very well put, but let me very quickly point out the records.